You ever go to the grocery store and notice that, I don't know, your favorite soda or bag of chips is just more expensive? You hear the company say, nope, we haven't raised prices, but the numbers on the receipt don't lie. Well, you're not imagining things. Today, we are going deep into the hidden world of the supply chain to figure out how prices can climb for everybody, even when the actual cost of the product hasn't changed one bit.
So, right off the bat, here's the central mystery we're unpacking. How in the world do prices go up if the store itself is paying the exact same amount for the product? I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? Well, it turns out the answer has nothing to do with the product itself, but everything to do with the journey it takes to get onto that shelf.
All right, to get this, we need to picture the two main players you see in almost any town. First, you've got your local independent grocery store, the corner shop, and then you have the giant supermarket chain. They might be right across the street from each other, selling the same stuff, but trust me, they are playing a completely different game.
Yeah, from the outside, it just looks like regular old competition. But the real battle, the one that actually ends up costing you more money, isn't happening in the aisles. It's all going down behind the scenes, in the world of logistics and distribution that most of us never ever think about.
And this visual really lays it all out. You've got two totally different systems here. On one side, for the little guys, the independent stores, you have something called direct store delivery, or DSD. That's where the big brands, like a soda company, bring their products right to the store's front door. The huge chains? Oh no, they've got their own massive warehouses and truck fleets. They handle everything themselves. Just look at the difference in complexity. So let's be super clear about what DSD is, because it's more than just a delivery. It's really a full-service white glove treatment. The manufacturer's own team will often come into the store, unload the truck, roll the products down the aisle, and physically put them on the shelf for the store. For a small independent shop with maybe just a handful of employees, that service is an absolute game changer. It's a lifeline.
Okay, so what happens when that lifeline gets yanked away? What if a big manufacturer suddenly decides, you know what, we're not doing DSD for the little guys anymore? They'll still sell them the product, sure, but that crucial service is gone. This, right here, is where our price mystery really starts to click into place.
All of a sudden, that small store is completely on its own. Now they have to scramble to find a middleman, a third-party wholesaler, to get the product. They've got to arrange their own shipping. They have to pull their own staff off the registers to unload trucks and stock shelves. Every single one of these new steps adds cost, a new markup, a new inefficiency. And remember, the price of the actual product hasn't changed, but their total cost to get it on the shelf, it just went through the roof.
And here's the kicker, the real domino effect. The small independent store, now facing these way higher costs, has no choice but to raise its prices to survive. The big chain store across the street sees this and, what do you think they do? They realize their main competitor is wounded. They're no longer the low-price leader. So the big chain can raise its prices too and pocket the extra profit.
And that's how it happens. One quiet, logistical decision by a manufacturer to pull a service from one type of store ends up making groceries more expensive for every single person in that neighborhood. The chain store costs more, the local store costs more. No matter where you decide to shop, you are paying more.
And believe me, this isn't just about paying an extra quarter for a gallon of milk. This dynamic, which has a technical name in antitrust circles, raising rivals' costs, creates this huge ripple effect that can seriously harm the entire community and the market itself. So let's zoom out and look at that bigger picture.
Think about it. When these independent stores are constantly getting squeezed by these hidden costs, a lot of them just can't make it. They shut down. That means fewer places to shop, fewer choices for all of us. The market gets more and more concentrated, with just a few giant chains calling all the shots. And this hits especially hard in lower-income areas, where that local grocer might have been the only place to get fresh food for miles.
Now, this whole situation just feels wrong, right? It feels unfair. But the big question is, does it actually cross the line and become illegal? Well, that question takes us into the really fascinating world of antitrust law, and a specific law that was designed to stop exactly this kind of thing from happening.
Everybody, meet the Robinson-Patman Act. It's a federal law that, in plain English, says sellers can't play favorites. They can't discriminate between different buyers if doing so is going to hurt competition. And, this is the really important part, it isn't just about charging one store more than another for the same can of beans.
And that is the absolute key here. This law is not just about the price tag on a product. It also covers all those extra things, the services and benefits, like delivery, shelf stocking, and even getting a good spot in a promotional flyer. The law says those things have to be offered to all retailers on proportionally equal terms. Basically, that means you can't give the big guys a bunch of valuable perks and leave the little guys with nothing.
And don't think for a second that this is some old, dusty law that no one pays attention to. Look at this timeline. This has been on the books for ages. The Supreme Court was ruling on it back in 1968. But fast forward to right now, 2024, and the Federal Trade Commission is actively bringing it back. They just sued a massive distributor for these kinds of discriminatory practices. And as we speak, they're investigating giants like PepsiCo for pretty much the exact same thing. This is a very live issue.
So there you have it. A seemingly boring change in logistics can ripple out to raise your grocery bill, close local stores, and reshape your entire community. It really makes you stop and think, right? If this is happening with something as basic as groceries, where else are these hidden games being played? Where else are hidden costs secretly driving up the prices you pay for, well, everything? It's a huge question, and as regulators start dusting off these old laws, the answer could end up changing a lot more than just the price of milk.